Hi, my name is Kat Reynolds, and this is my Tech Talk recorded presentation for Educator Performance and Evaluation. And this is No Red Ink, online software mainly used in ELA classrooms for middle school and secondary levels, also sometimes used for the college level in EN 101 and 102 as a review. It's mainly compatible with through desktop. You can pull it up on browsers on your phone, but it works best through desktop. You can pull it up through Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer. Pretty much any browser works best through Google Chrome, and it's compatible for Google Chromebooks, which is awesome because that's what most public schools use right now are Google Chromebooks. Compatible with most Google software, which is awesome. Makes it way easier for teachers. It is a free software. You can opt for the paid subscription, and I've seen that used in practicum in both a middle school and a high school. And it does have some pretty cool features, but for the most part, everything that you need to do, you can do through the free version. There's just some extra stuff that is nice through the premium. The purpose is to help students with different aspects of grammar and writing. So this is the home page here. So you can see No Red Ink here in the corner. If I go here to browse and assign, I can show you some of the options. So you've got these 4 things: practice, writing, assessment, standards, and tests. I've never seen the standards and tests part used, but you can align the assignment that you're putting into No Red Ink to your state standards so that you're hitting all those and lining up your objectives to your lesson plan. And you can help your students prepare for standardized tests, like benchmarks, and also SAT and ACT prep. There's assessments for diagnostics and quizzes to assess student skills. You can connect it to your Google Classroom, Classroom Dojo, Blackboard, Canvas, whatever you need to attach it to, and use that as a grade. There's this new writing feature here that I'll just click on it so you can see. You've got the quick write option, guided draft, peer review, and self-review. I've seen all of these used in secondary classrooms in both creative writing and CPELA. Pretty cool software, really easy to use, kind of straightforward. The students really liked it. I haven't heard any student complain about having to do No Red Ink. Well, complaining more than they do about anything. So the thing I see used most often is the practice, the targeted exercises that teachers use as to kind of to see where students are as like a benchmark. I've seen it used as a bell ringer exercise instead of doing something pertaining to the lesson, doing the grammar exercises as a bell ringer or an exit ticket every day. And I saw that more in the middle school than in high school. I've seen my teacher in practicum this past semester in the high school use it as their SLO, which is like a manageable assessment throughout a unit of the semester that the teachers mark student progress and submit it to the state to show their teaching skills and how they're aligning things to standards and demonstratable student data that shows that they're actually making progress. I've also seen the practice used as extra credit material if students want to gain extra credit help, or if they need help in a certain area of grammar, then they'll assign the practice a lot. So if you click on practice, you can see that obviously there's a bunch of topics. There's ACT and SAT passages for ACT prep. There's stuff for evidence and citation and plagiarism, which I see used a lot when it comes to writing. And then you just have basic parts of speech, capitalization, punctuation, sentence, phrases, and clauses, which is great for a lot of the public school system students right now because they don't really focus on grammar as much. It's more critical thinking, communication, and literature, which is amazing, but if they can't be expected to write high quality papers if they're not being taught how to write. So No Red Ink helps scaffold learning for students so that they don't have a lot of grammar in elementary and then middle school, and then in high school it kind of just all falls away. So it's a good way to bring back that knowledge to access prior learning. And then it also has stuff for EFL students, like commonly confused words. That's something that I've used a lot this semester in TESOL Methods with Dr. Leach in our tutoring project, and my student has really appreciated it. Overall quality of the website, I think you can see the layout is really clear. It's easy to get around. I didn't watch the tutorial video, and I was able to create assignments for my student. These are 3 assignments that I made that she was able to complete. It's pretty easy to put students into it. As far as collecting student data and making sure that you're being able to log everything, also pretty easy. I know that you can attach it to a Google Classroom. I haven't personally done that, but I've seen it done. You can see here for grades, and then if you have more students in your classroom, you can check for mastery to see what students have done. if it'll load. So you can attach this into your Google Classroom, and it'll show you your class average, how well they're doing in all of their things, and it'll track the progress for them. In the middle school, I saw teachers use it as a pretest to assess student knowledge and where they were coming in at the beginning of the semester, and then they were able to build off of that and then help. No Red Ink has kind of an option to make individualized learning plans for students. So if they take, for example, here's an assessment that I gave to my student. If she's taking this and says Michael Scott tries not to eat too much before he has a swim meet, she clicks submit, and then she gets it wrong over and over again. The teacher can see that, and we can change it up. So it's a great way of assessing student knowledge and how well they're actually doing. They can't just guess. And another cool thing is that teachers can apply real life or things that students that are interested in and apply that into the question so that it's interesting. So this is actually a character from The Office, Michael Scott, that I selected for my student because she likes that show. I saw in the middle school they were reading The Hunger Games, and they would have like Katniss Everdeen tries not to eat too much, and it kept students interested and made them laugh. And then even in the high school, my teacher would use different Disney movies and stuff like that seemed to make the high schoolers more interested in it. So here's an example of using 2, 2, and 2. So the student would write too much before he has a swim meet. They'd submit the answer, and it would tell them that they were right. If they get it wrong and they submit it, it'll tell the teacher what if it's right or wrong, and they can reset it. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy for students to use. I haven't heard of any students not being able to use it. Like Kahoot and Quizlet, the teacher can either put up like an access code and send the access code to the student. They can pull it up and do like a Quizlet Live, or they can do it as like an assignment into their Google Docs, the Daily Docs, Bell Ringer, whatever the teacher assigns for the day. I'd say it's pretty easy to use. The software is pretty easy to use. It helps teachers to how to check where their students are throughout the semester. And the limitations, I'd say the repetition. Like you just saw, a lot of the questions are either multiple choice, matching, or short answer, which in the middle school I saw it used pretty much every day, and the students kind of got tired of it. Even with like the fun names and stuff in the questions, they were still getting pretty tired of it. There aren't pictures really involved in it. There's no other type of learning. It's basically just fill in the blank. It does read to the student, so that does help with scaffolding and making sure that every student's on the same level. But it gets kind of old after a while. There's lack of working knowledge, so you can see a question and say, oh, it's 2, 2, or 2, but when they're actually writing it in a paper, it's a little bit different. I think the writing section of this website helps with that a lot, but even still, it needs to be partnered with something else outside of just No Red Ink. Like, you'd probably want to assign like a writing assignment with it if you were going to be talking about it, or a reading comprehension assignment in addition to the No Red Ink, and not just depend on No Red Ink. And of course, the biggest pitfall is that it's technology. And if your technology falls through and this is all you've got planned for like a whole unit, you're just going to work with No Red Ink and your Chromebooks. A student comes in, their Chromebook is dead, you don't have a charger. That student just has to sit there all day. And I've seen that happen. So those are the biggest things. They're all pretty minor issues, I think. Basically just use it in context, and it can be a really helpful tool in the classroom. So that's No Red Ink. Thank you for your time, and that's all.